Alan front and center here to review the Munsters, because I want to hear, Alan, how is Rob Zombie's The Munsters? Your honest review. I want to hear it right now.
Yeah, we're going to kind of go into this with Quantum Leap, but if you're going to remake a series, you've got to sort of honor what was great about the original series. And at least the first half of Rob Zombie's The Munsters, it goes really out of its way to not do that. The movie is basically split up into two sections. The first takes place in Transylvania, where and this is an origin story of the Munsters. So Herman is being built in a lab, and they're supposed to put the brain of a highly intellectual scientist into his head, but of course they don't. A little nod to, or a ripoff of Young Frankenstein at that point. So they're building Herman. And then Lily and Grandpa, or as they call him, the Count, they are living well in their mansion, but their werewolf brother Lester has squandered his debts. He needs to sell the mansion and needs to find some money fast. And so through a series of events, Herman is born. He becomes this kind of stand-up comedian. He just tells jokes all the time. They're mostly dad jokes. But Lily finds herself attracted to him. They get married, and then Lester swindles Herman into signing over the house that he had just got through the marriage. And now the Munsters are forced to move to Hollywood. And so let's put it this way. The first half of the movie is them in Transylvania. It's bad. It's god-awful. It's basically a bad improv show. What they've done is they've taken a room full of actors who created these characters, and they're just riffing off of each other, trying to say funny things, calling out their jokes. It's just really bad comedy at this point. The bright spot, though, I will say is, let me just grab the name here, is Jeff Daniel Phillips, who plays Herman. He is the best thing about this show. He doesn't do an impression of Fred Gwynn. Fred Gwynn has kind of a deeper bass tone to his voice. Jeff Phillips here has a more higher baritone to it, so the tone is much higher. But everything about the romance between him and Lily works for the movie that we have here. It's a very lame comedy. It's a very low-key, lowbrow comedy. I'd throw it in there kind of at the Troma, the full moon level kind of comedy. When they get to America, it kind of picks up. You start to feel familiar with the show. I think the second half is definitely better. It's almost as good as the original series, and that's not saying a whole lot. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. They had the opportunity to make the Munsters, and they made the Munsters, and here we have it. To the question of color in black and white, for some reason, it just works in color. I'm sorry, it works in black and white. I'm gonna get killed on that one. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about this. Oh, the heart of the Munsters is basically it's a monster family living in a normal neighborhood, and people don't really recognize the fact that they're monsters. They just realize that they're strange people, and I don't think they quite got there. And I think there's something about the black and white that kind of I don't know, lends a lot of weight and gravitas to that monster, to the genre, and I just didn't feel like it worked here. So I just say for the most part, it's a pass. But if you're curious, go and see it. Pat Priest and Butch Patrick do voiceover cameos in it. But yeah, you watch the trailer, you're gonna know what you're gonna get right away.
Well, Alan, it sounds awful. I think it sounds awful.
In the end, it gets better when they actually do the Munster plot line, the Munster story. It's good, but it's not as good as the original series. The first half is just bad improv. I'll put it that way.
All right, let's go to comments about your review and discussion of the Munsters. It looks awful. I think I've seen the trailer. I'm not interested. I love the original Munsters. I know a lot of it is dumb, but I love the Munsters because I would watch, the Munsters. I'd watch the Addams Family. They're both in black and white. They both feature they're like family dramas, family dramas with monsters, right? And I love the fact like how devoted Herman is to his wife. Same thing, with the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Like they have that like family dynamic that just works. And so I love the original Munsters, but this just looks god awful.
I mean, there's elements of that in the, like I said, in the back end, but you have to get to there. And I'm afraid you're just going to shut it off before you even get to what seemingly is the good part.